Jack's been a hard ass, there's no question. But I didn't get to where I am because it's been easy. I've had a tough run.
It's really that part of you that I think is important for people to see, not so much what you've done, but what you've had to overcome.
I was always wanting to help, from when I didn't have money, I always wanted to give what I didn't have. And then when I had it, it was easier because now I could give it, and I had it to give.
I am DeForest B. Soaries Jr., and this is Say Yes When Life Says No. If you want to meet somebody who came from humble beginnings, who started his career as a real estate developer with one lot where he built one house and sold it, then you'll be fascinated to meet my guest today, Jack Morris. Jack was not shot by the police. Jack never lived in public housing. Jack was not denied access to the college of his choice because he didn't even apply to college. What Jack has done is built a business empire that has positioned him and his family to just give money away. And so the time that we spend together today, he's not talking about his planes. We're not talking about his boats. We're not talking about his mansion or his winery or any of the things that he owns. What we're talking about is how he's leveraged all of his blessings and his gifts and his assets to make an impact in communities, especially in the area of healthcare. Welcome, Jack Morris, businessman, entrepreneur, and philanthropist.
Life told him no long before success ever said yes. In the classroom and far beyond it, growing up in Highland Park, New Jersey, Jack Morris didn't fit the mold. School was a struggle. The path forward, unclear. But at just 18 years old, he made a decision most wouldn't dare. He chose himself. He said yes to risk, to vision, to building something from nothing. With no roadmap, no guarantees, he founded the Jack Morris Construction Company, starting with custom homes, brick by brick, belief by belief. And the resistance came. Doubt, opposition, closed doors, people who couldn't see what he saw. But Jack Morris didn't wait for permission. He kept building. From transforming the former Garden State Park racetrack into a thriving community, to investing in cities across New Jersey, reimagining neighborhoods, to stepping into Atlantic City when others walked away, helping redevelop the former Taj Mahal into the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, restoring jobs, reviving hope. But his legacy isn't just in what he built, it's in what he gave. The Jack and Cheryl Morris Cancer Center, a place rooted in healing, compassion, and life-saving care. A testament to purpose beyond profit. From a young man navigating uncertainty to a visionary shaping skylines and communities, Jack Morris didn't just overcome the odds. He redefined them.
God bless you, and God bless America.
Because when life said no, he didn't hesitate. He didn't retreat. He built anyway. He said yes.
Joining me today is someone that I've known for years, someone whose work has been impactful both in the corporate world and, more importantly, in the community world. He's someone who cares passionately about people, and he really demonstrates what it means to do well and do good. Welcome to Say Yes When Life Says No, my friend Jack Morris. Thanks, Jack, for being here.
And thank you for having me.
Jack, when I say yes when life says no, what comes to mind?
Well, it's easy to say no, and sometimes people are in a situation where saying yes means it's going to either take a lot of work and do things that they may not want to do, but yet they may know is the right thing to do. And so I've always taken the approach, say yes, not no.
You know, when I first heard your name, I was really shocked to learn that a lot of the people that I knew from a neighborhood not far from here were people that you knew. Because when I think of a businessman, when I think of a real estate developer, I don't think of some of the people that I used to know and hang around with when I was younger. So describe how it is that you were connected to so many what I would call regular people.
Well, as you know, I grew up from humble beginnings,
Yeah.
right across the bridge in Highland Park, and you know, when you grow up from humble beginnings, you know, and I lived in a 2-bedroom apartment. My mom was a hairdresser. My dad worked at EJ Corvettes. I don't know if you remember
Yeah,
EJ
yeah.
Corvettes department store. And you know, the kids that you know played with on the playground were your friends, and they taught me what life was like, and that really helped me to be the person I am today. And I'll never forget them, and hopefully they'll never forget me.
One time you told me that when you graduated from high school, that you graduated in part because they wanted to get rid of you.
That's why I'm laughing. Graduate.
You remember telling me that?
I do. I do.
What does that mean for those who don't know?
Well, I wasn't the best student, and I caused a little trouble, you know. But I was good at fixing cars. I remember Mr. Bailey had the difficult kids in his class,
Okay.
and I was one of the difficult kids. And he had a stick about this big. Mr. Bailey was about 6'4", and nobody messed with him. And I remember him walking into class one day, and I think maybe I was a sophomore. And he said, "Nobody messed with me this morning. I'm not in a good mood." And he wore a white shirt, button-down shirt, and it was all drenched. He was wet. And he said, "I had to walk to school because my car broke down." And I said, "Where's your car?" And he said, "What?" And I said, "Where's your car?" Now, I was 15 years old. I wasn't old enough to drive. I said, "Give me the keys. Tell me where it is." He gave me the keys to his car. He said, "I'm telling you right now, if you screw my car up, I'll kill you." I said, "You can't screw it up anymore. It's broken." All I could do is, you know. So I knew where his car was. I went to the car, and his water pump wasn't working, so the car overheated. Water pump wasn't working because the fan belt came off. So I went, there was a garden hose at a house next door. He left it on the side of the road, put some fresh water in it, was able to start it and take it to auto shop. And I, you know, got a fan belt, fixed his car while I was at it, gave it a little tune-up, brought the keys back to him. He said, "My car never ran better." And after that...
Where'd you learn that? I mean, where'd you just learn how to fix cars?
I was always good with my hands, and I could watch people and learn things. There was no formal training. But my uncle had a junkyard, so I used to go to the junkyard, and I learned taking it apart, figured out how to put it together. And then all the teachers figured out that I could fix their cars. So part and parcel how I got through, and I think they just said, "Let's get rid of this kid. He's never going to amount to nothing, so just give him a diploma and let him get the hell out of here." But you know, it was
Yeah.
it was good. It was good.
So how did you go from fixing cars to building houses?
My mom's dad had been a small home builder, and but he had retired, you know, for a while. He was sick, had some issues, medical issues, and he knew I was fixing cars, and I was working at Highland Pizza at night, fixing cars during the day. And he said, "You're not going to make any money fixing cars. Go build houses." I said, "Pop, I don't know how to build houses." He says, "You'll learn." And I said, "Okay, if that's what you tell me to do, I'm going to do it." I had a lot of respect for him. And so he sold me a lot when I was 18.
A vacant lot.
A vacant lot. He sold me a vacant lot in Edison. And I learned I knew how to run heavy equipment, you know, because I used to hang out with some people we grew up with in Highland Park. So I figured out how to build it. And there was a guy building some houses off of RWJ Ave in Edison at the time. And I walk up on a job, and this guy's like, "Who are you?" He was wondering who I am standing around there watching. And his name was Art Laurie, I remember the guy. And he said to him, "I'm going to build a house down the street." I said, "I need to watch so I can learn." And he said, "How about if I help you?" And he said, "I got a plumbing business." And so he became my plumber, and he helped me and showed me how to build the house. And
You were 18?
I was 18. And the guy who was making pizzas at night was a mason during the day. And so he taught me how to do the masonry work and helped me because we knew each other. So I knew how to run the equipment. I had the mason, and I just learned it. I learned it from the ground up.
So you built the house and sold it?
Built the house and sold it. Yep. Rest is history. Kept doing that over and over again.
Really? Just looking for lots?
Just look for lots, yep.
Build the house and sell the house?
Yep.
Wow. How many houses have you done? Do you know? You probably don't know, but
Over 10,000.
10,000 houses.
10,000, sure. Yeah.
That one little lot
Yeah.
turned into 10,000 houses. That doesn't include other commercial buildings. We'll talk about that
Yeah.
later on. But when I talk to you, it's always about philanthropy. You almost never talk to me about making money. You talk to me about making a change.
Yeah.
The first time I think you asked me to get involved was you did the extreme makeover.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about how that
You're
happened.
still talking to me after I got you into that, so.
I should have stopped. But yeah, you got me involved in that. But
I did.
You and your business partner decided that you were going to do one of those rebuild a house in 7-day projects, right?
Yeah.
How did you come to that decision?
I happened to be watching, the TV, and I look up, and they're building this house, and so it kind of intrigued me, and I'm watching, and before I knew it, I was crying, and I'm talking to Joe, and I said, "Joe, you got to put Channel 7." He said, "It's funny you said that. I was going to tell you to put Channel 7." He goes, "I'm watching it too," and the two of us said at the same time, "We got to do this," and it was just so great to see that there's somebody whose house got either burnt down or they needed a home, and that you could help somebody that needed help. All these people had extraordinary circumstances, and so we contacted the show, and we said we'd like to build a house, and they said send your credentials in. You send them in, and then they contact you, and they send you videotapes of different people that had put their requests in, and you get to pick, from a number of them that you get to look at, and that's how we got involved.
Yeah, the woman whose house you built took in kids.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they were foster kids, sometimes they were just homeless kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of what really got to your heart. But I remember talking to you about it because when you called me about it, what I said to you was, Jack, do you realize that once you rebuild this house, the value is going to go up, the taxes are going to go up, utilities are going to go up. So if you just build this house and give it to her,
You did.
you're going to hurt her with this new house. And your response was, I'll just raise some money and make sure that her expenses don't go up. So this philanthropic heart that you have, this desire to go beyond the call of duty, where did that come from? Did it come from your parents? Did it come from your religious training? I mean, where does this come from?
Well, I think it's three things. My parents, obviously I came from, loving family, and they gave me good values. People say, my family gave me this, gave me that. Best thing they could have gave me is great values and to be a good, hardworking, honest person. And my mother still kicks my butt every day and reminds me of that. I think the religion is an important part, and that's what I always, liked and admired about you. that you gave people that religion that they needed. Sometimes people need hope. Some people need somebody to fear, somebody to love, somebody to look up to. And, I think, everybody needs God in their life. And so I think, I always say I don't answer to man, I answer to God. And, you have to look at yourself and say, did I do the right thing or did I do the wrong thing? I don't need somebody else to tell me if I did the right thing or the wrong thing. When you did the wrong thing. And I was always wanting to help, from when I didn't have money, I always wanted to give what I didn't have. And then when I had it, it was easier because now I could give it. And I had it to give. And so it wasn't a hard decision for me. It was always pretty easy for me to want to give back.
So it's just a part of who you are.
It's just who I am.
All right, so now I'm going to go down a list of projects that are high-profile projects, but I happen to know that it wasn't easy to do. And I want you to talk about some of the details. Let's start with, not in the order of size or priority, let's start with the healthcare system. You were the chair of a brand new healthcare system in New Jersey, the largest healthcare system, over 40,000 employees, multi-billion-dollar company. But it required bringing two healthcare systems together, and very few people thought it could work. So people said no, but you said yes. So how did you pull that off?
Not many people know this story. You know it, but not many people know it. To think here's this kid from Highland Park that doesn't have, any formal education other than from the street, to be asked to be a board member and serve on a board of a hospital, was to me just like, what am I doing here? But I was asked, and I think, as I said, I think God works in mysterious ways and put me someplace where I needed to be. And, I was on the board for a short period of time, and I saw that there was people who understood medicine, people who understood all different, parts of life, but they really didn't have a business head, and they didn't understand the business part of it. And so I had an opportunity to raise my voice. You've heard me raise my voice. And, I said, I think I can make a difference here. And so I got more and more involved. And I saw the makeup of the board. And I didn't like it. And I said, these are not people that are part of our community. We need people that are part of our community. We need a diverse board. And we need people who are not just going to be here for their egos, but they're going to be here for the right reasons. And I think I was able to change the dynamic of the board, a board that believed in me. And I asked you if you would come and help me serve, because I needed people who also I knew cared about people. And when they came to me and said, we want to merge the two hospitals, you know what I said to her, there's no such things as mergers. They're called takeovers. Right. But if you want to take the hospital over, you got to give me some assurances that there's going to be something that's going to benefit the people of New Jersey, the people we serve, and I'm going to have enough comfort that I'm going to be able to monitor it and make sure that what you say you're going to do, you're actually going to do. And once I was able to establish that, we would then become the largest academic healthcare center in the state of New Jersey. And there were three things that I wanted. One was a real cancer program, a real children's program, and a real medical school, one that could rank top in the country. And I think we're on a trajectory to do it. First is our cancer. We're one of 12, now 13, standalone freestanding cancer centers. And I would arguably say ours is number one in the country right now. And what that does is it doesn't just change cancer care for the people in New Jersey, it changes cancer care for the people in the entire United States of America, because other healthcare systems, other cancer centers are looking at what we're doing, and everybody always wants to one-up you. And we are going to continue to raise the bar and continue to chase cancer care and healthcare in this country.
So I'm talking to Jack Morris, who just described the RWJ Barnabas healthcare system from the early beginnings of the Robert Wood Johnson Hospital in New Brunswick, and then its expansion, and now this system. Jack is one of the most successful business people I've ever met, but one of the most generous philanthropists you'll ever meet. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We're going to keep talking to Jack Morris about the challenging tasks he's taken on, but with outstanding success, not for himself only, but for the people that he serves.
Enjoying the conversation? Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and leave a comment telling us how you said yes when life said no.
So Jack, you just described the merger of the St. Barnabas system with the Robert Wood Johnson system in healthcare. It was hard work, tough negotiations, and you ended up as chair of the first board of this unified system. Now, you mentioned the Cancer Center, and I happen to know again that the system created a plan for the Cancer Center to be in New Brunswick, the one that I believe and you believe is the leader now and sets the standard in the country.
Yes.
I happen to know that the day the Cancer Center was announced, there were people who were picketing the event. They were protesting. They were protesting because they were going to lose a school in New Brunswick, and some of them were parents.
Yeah.
They were protesting because they felt that the jobs wouldn't benefit New Brunswick, and they were protesting because some people just like to protest. Despite the protest and opposition, the Jack and Cheryl Morris Cancer Center is there. So how did you get past that opposition and protest and create something that has benefited the community far beyond their imagination?
You know, when we decided we were going to build state-of-the-art cancer center, we had to find the best location for it. And the best location is clearly where it currently sits. And I knew that. But I also knew that it was a school that needed to be rebuilt in a better location. You can't have a trauma one hospital with ambulances racing up and down the street, and you have small kids running in and out of buses. It's not the most safe situation in the world. That school was a very old school that had lead paint issues and contamination issues, asbestos issues. And I knew there was a better place for those kids to go to school. The mayor did a great job. He said, look, I'm going to put together a committee of people that are going to go find the best location. And the funny part is they put this whole task force together. And the mayor calls me and he says, they've come to a conclusion on where they want to be. I said, great, I can't wait to hear. He goes, on your property. So I said, what? I said, he goes, yeah, you know the property you have on Jersey Hand? I says, yeah, I know the property I have where I'm supposed to put 400 residential units. He goes, that's where they want to be. I said, my greatest pleasure, and again, God's work, that I got to donate it, right? So most people would have looked at it as, I got to give this up, or I got to me, it's a gift from God saying, I get to give this and to be part of the solution and part of why we have the land to build this amazing cancer center on. So couldn't have been a bigger gift.
That's an amazing perspective on losing money. It's a gift from God to give away property that could have earned me millions of dollars
Yeah.
year over year over year. Just a phenomenal story. But again, not only did you say yes when a lot of people said no, but you turned the yes into something
But
huge.
I said yes.
Yeah, yeah, you said yes. Another project that I want to share with you is that in the 1970s, I was a young activist and I fought hard to stop casino gambling in Atlantic City. I didn't like the people who were going to build the casinos. I didn't like the way they were going about running the casinos. And I felt that it was just bad for the state and particularly bad for Atlantic City. One of my best friends, who you know is on the council there now, was against it. And I was right for the first 20 to 25 years. Those casino operators didn't care about the city. The people in the city didn't have jobs. Homelessness increased. So then you come along as my friend and say, look, I need your support. I want to build a Hard Rock hotel and casino in Atlantic City. You call me,
I did.
who has fought against those kinds of projects. And you've gone about the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in a way that has caused everybody from the NAACP to the Black Muslims to pastors who are friends of mine just singing your praises. So what have you done in Atlantic City that's different than what was there before you arrived?
Yeah. If you would ask me if I thought I would have ever owned a casino, the answer would have been no. And that was, never my goal to own a casino. I owned a piece of property with my partner, Joe Gingoli, and we went to CRDA, Casino Redevelopment Authority, to a meeting. And we got done with the meeting at CRDA, and he said, "You want to go grab a cup of coffee?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." So we're walking down the street, and I saw this young lady propped up against a Coke machine. She was clearly on some type of a drug. And it bothered me. Some things, how you see things or you hear things, and it just bothers you. It sticks in your mind and bothers you. So I go home that night, and I'm laying in bed. My wife goes, "You okay? You don't seem okay." I said, "Nah." She goes, "What's the matter?" Told her what happened, what I saw. And she says, "Do you really think you're going to do something about it?" I said, "Yep." She said, "You think you could change Atlantic City and what's going on there?" I said, "Yep." She says, "You're out of your mind." I said, "We established that a long time ago." I said, "Now we got to figure out how we can fix it." And I called Joey the next morning because he and I talk almost every morning. He goes, "God put us together for a reason." Now, Joe, as you know, is a recovering drug addict, alcoholic, and gives a big part of his life to give back to help people in recovery.
Right.
And he goes, "You serious? You really want to do something?" I said, "Yeah, we got to do something." Now, you talk about how things line up. Very shortly thereafter, I get a call that the Revel Casino was in bankruptcy, and we have an opportunity to buy it. I can't imagine this. I said, "I have an opportunity here to change these people's lives." In Atlantic City, what you said is exactly right. The community wasn't allowed to work in the casinos. They use J1 visas to bring people in from all over the world, but not in the community. We went to Chief Justice, we went to the court, and we said, we want to change drug court to recovery court. We want to change the laws that people that have nonviolent offenses can work in the casinos. We have to put these people back to work. We put thousands and thousands of people from the community back to work. We went to the leaders, the people you just mentioned, and we said, we're not these casino owners. We're not these people you just described. This is who we are. And today, as you said, they respect and love us, and we love them. And we've changed that community. We've changed that community. And what did we do? we made others follow. Other casinos said
Right.
they're doing it. We're guilted into doing it. So sometimes, people get guilted into doing the right thing. But we've changed the complexity of that city and who works in that city. And I couldn't be prouder. It's not about me owning a casino or how much money you make. It's about us being able to give back and help the community. And I'm very, very proud of that.
Yeah, and as far as I know, you don't have a publicist. You don't do interviews.
Never done one.
People in the area kind of know the name Jack Mars. They know Edgewood Properties, but I've never seen you seek recognition or publicity. The healthcare system decided to honor you by naming the cancer center after you and your wife Cheryl because of how integral you were in making it happen and how generous you were in contributing to the cost. But most people would want people to know this about them. Do you have any interest in people?
It's not why I put my name on it.
Yeah.
To the contrary, and you know this, it was because Barry Ostrowski convinced me that if people see what you did, it'll inspire other people.
Right.
And two, because if people see your name on it, they wouldn't want to let you down.
Right.
Because so many people, he said, respect you. And I said, well, they respect me, they fear me, I don't care. Let them do the right thing inside that building. And listen, Jack's been a hard ass. There's no question. But I didn't get to where I am because it's been easy. I've had a tough run. And
Yeah, I've seen people oppose you that don't even know you. I've read things that people wrote about you who had never met you. They just don't know. And it's really that part of you that I think is important for people to see. Not so much what you've done, but what you've had to overcome to do what you've done. Because a lot of people have given up.
yeah.
I mean, I see you almost every week fighting some battle. That's easier to give up. But you're never fighting for you. You're always fighting for an outcome that benefits other people. It's just amazing.
It's not about me.
Right.
If I can tell my story and my story inspires somebody else and it helps somebody else, then it's worth it.
Right.
Just to talk about myself, to boost my ego, I don't need that stuff.
Right.
I want to be able to see people say, here's somebody, because everybody thinks you got to go to college. You got to, it's great. I support people going, getting educated and all that stuff. But we need people educated. We need people that are going to work hard, be good people. And that's what I support. And I just encourage people to do the right thing in life, be good people. And we need more people like that. And I would continue to give back to people who want to do the right thing in life.
I wish you folks could understand how powerful this man is, yet how humble he carries himself. I tell people all the time about you, Jack, that if you walked into a room and people didn't know who you were, they would never imagine who you are, whether it's the restaurant, the hotel, wherever. And so I want to thank you for joining me. You can Google Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, Atlantic City, RWJ Barnabas Health in New Jersey, Edgewood Properties. This man is a giant. He is a brilliant businessman. I've seen him in rooms with people with all kinds of degrees and all kinds of lawyers, and he just cuts through all of that and makes things happen. But more importantly, he is an absolutely generous philanthropist. He's led by his heart and makes an impact on people's lives. And I count it a privilege to call him my friend. So thank you, friend. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you.
I'll be right back with closing remarks. The year that my life was doing its best was the same year I was diagnosed with cancer. My response to that diagnosis is described in this book, Say Yes When Life Says No. Go to my website, dbsoaries.com, pick up a copy of the book, and I hope you'll be inspired by the way I was able to get past my no and embrace my life saying yes. I was one of the early activists to oppose casino gambling in Atlantic City, and I've been concerned about the proliferation and expansion of legal gambling throughout this country. My biggest concern is that vulnerable people who can least afford to lose money are caught up in gambling. It becomes an addiction, and they can literally lose their assets and their lives. What I am inspired by, however, is a man like Jack Morris with his partners who use the casino industry, who use the hotel business in Atlantic City to hire people who have had criminal backgrounds, to hire people who have never worked before, and to hire local people from a city that is impoverished and has been depressed for over 75 years. Jack Morris had to overcome tremendous odds and tremendous opposition. The hospital that he helped fund was picketed and protested by people in the community. And even in Atlantic City, there were people who just didn't trust him because of the history of hotel owners in that community. We need more business people who have consciences. We need more entrepreneurs who are wildly successful, but who understand their success as a gift from God, as Jack said, to be a benefit to other people. His philanthropy will always outshine his commercial success, and his legacy and the legacy of his family will be that it is completely possible and preferable to do well, make money, prosper, and use all of that blessing to be a benefit to other people. So thank God for Jack Morris, and thank you for joining us today. Life is saying no to people every day, but you said yes to watching this program. Please subscribe and stay tuned to Say Yes When Life Says No.
Historically, there are a lot of things that are built for us, the Black community, and there aren't enough things that are built by us. When my dad was 6 and when I was 4, we were taught this phrase, keep the farm, pay the taxes, and don't let anyone take it. Teaching kids that business acumen at a very early age is a huge part of establishing that legacy and continuing that legacy.